Howdy, hi everybody. Mr. Information Bunny has kindly agreed to rejoin me to help out with Starbound. Now, I thought about doing this with a blank Starbound screen in the back, and I thought, nah, I don't think so. So, this is some of the raw footage in the background that I'm probably pulling like 5%, maybe 10% out of to make the Starbound videos. Uh, So anyway, what I was going to do, I'm going to go into the Starbounder wiki. Now, I'm not going to play the game. I won't. There won't be any commentary on what's happening in the background. I'm just going to talk about some things people have told me about the game and some information, and rat around a little bit in the Starbounder wiki. All right, that's so. If you're looking for gameplay of Starbound, I'm not doing it here. Okay. BRCKH. So either that's a Danish username or a eructation by a cat with a hairball, but Breck. Let's see, mentioned that and a couple of people mentioned this about status pods, uh, that they're not working yet. So he's not the only one, and I've talked about Jaciopathic and Kermit the Badger about that. Um, Anyway, the status pods, and unless it's changed since the last time I played the game, which I think was yesterday, uh, the status pods and which is those white revolving cylinders, and the skull altar aren't working right yet. That's why when you click E on them, they just disappear. He also suggested his was rather extensive. He suggested I try the two-handed weapon. And I was thinking about that and I was thinking about that on my own because the wooden shield is just a wooden shield, and I haven't upgraded it all or anything. And if you kill the other guy, he can't kill you. So that's one reason. And it may or may not show up in a video, but I was playing with the old flame one, even though the DPS was about half. Uh, but anyway, he suggested trying different weapons because, like in Terraria, different red weapons have different reach, etc., etc. Are you seeing my hand? Yes, you are. Okay. Uh, okay, there's something about the pixel. Oh, the pixel prices are for the printer. And if you run something, I'm probably not set up to tell you about that. Um, if you run something off in the printer in the Starship, what I think he was saying was that you can buy that. It uses up whatever you run through it, but in the future you can buy that without the raw materials. So anyway, we'll get to that in more detail later, but just look into that on your own if you don't. If you already know all this stuff, God bless you. And well, I won't say move on. That's your choice. Uh, he said the pixel loss on death is 30%. He said that can be reduced later on with a pixel condenser. So we might look that up here. I don't know. I do have Starbounder Wiki open. And it occurred to me a lot of you may not know how to find. Well, I guess you could just Google Starbounder Wiki because it comes up with the game launcher is where I first saw it, and in many ways it's better than the Google wiki, but he suggested using both, which makes a lot of sense to me because a lot of the Starbounder ones are just very brief. It's like mushroom block. It is a mushroom block. It's like, oh, okay, thank you. Um, oh, he mentioned pressing X and Z on dual wield for the left and right hand, and I figured somebody I was being lazy. I figured somebody would tell me. And, I've been leery of going to wiki in the game because I've had those problems with game crashes in Don't Starve, and I've just been letting things ride, and I haven't looked up a bunch of stuff I should. Jet Bowman, and I believe I'm guessing Bowman, Bauman, might be Bauman, mentioned I should repair the pick, and I did look that up in Starbounder Wiki, and it says you can repair the pick, I believe, with diamond ore, the diamond pick, obviously, not a different one. Uh, What else here? Oh, you can turn the bones and the mushrooms into blocks. And it's Summer Key or Summer Kai, KY. I think it's Summer Key, but I haven't looked at my comments yet. I asked what the pronunciation was on the name, but I haven't looked at my comments yet. Mentioned a similarity to this in Ghosts and Ghouls, and I think it's because of the very harsh two-dimensional look of this at this point, and because I've been doing a lot of right scrolling. And there's a funny video about that, to the right or move to the right, something like that, that the kid showed me. The kid is my son, Death Even 13, who is on a, not a holiday, but a hiatus. But he's big into retro gaming and how games come about. Okay, we are just for, I happened to look up the village spawner, but we are right now on the chef spawner, CHEF. Chef spawner, and this is in Starbound or wiki. Chef spawner is an item for spawning a chef NPC which sells food to the player when placed correctly. Now it mentioned that with the village spawner you wanted it off screen. You wanted to set it and move off screen and let it do its thing. And I believe it said the village spawner only spawned one villager. But anyway, when placed correctly, the chef spawner will spawn a single NPC that will function like any naturally found merchant NPC in the game. It will respond to the player and events such as monster attacks as normal, which I would assume means it can be killed. Upon creation of the chef NPC, the chef spawner will be destroyed. And there are descriptions of each race responding to that. I'll just give you the Hyoidal one because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. I hope this chef respects my sensitive palate. But there's a huge amount of information that I have, like I said, pretty much blown off. Okay, spawners. Spawners are used to populate areas with NPCs of the race the player has chosen. Once a spawner is placed, the player needs to move far enough away from the spawner so it is off screen, and the NPC will spawn on its place. Spawners are one-time use, and once they're spawned, their NPC will disappear and not be recoverable. Now, I don't know if this is done by the company. It looks like it's done by the company. Wiki's normally done by volunteers, so whoever's information I'm using, thank you very much, and I full credit to you for doing it. It's certainly not my work. So anyway, you have your various Apex, Avian, Florin, Glitch, Human, Glitch is the robot-y things, Human, Hyoidal, Guard, and that's as opposed to a villager. I think there must be a guard for each race, and Pirate. Now I wonder if those bad guys with the skulls, because this shows a skull icon. Okay, vendors, it shows Chef, Doctor, Stem, Tool, and Wizard. And I would imagine it says, let's go to Wizard just because that's fun. When placed correctly, the Wizard spawner will blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it doesn't say anything else. Let's see what the Hyoidal says. Will this spawn a wizard or yet another charlatan? Oh, yeah, that's right. I think the Hyoidals are like high-tech, etc., etc. There's probably a bunch of other things Mr. Information Bunny should look at, but I didn't make a list. Yeah, I know. I wasn't even sure how to go about this. It was kind of a like, because I was trying to do it with Fraps because it's much easier, but it was just a booger. It was being a, you know what, so. Oh, there's green stem packs also. Oh, and a wizard hat. Probably the wizard hat is just vanity. I would have to wait for it to, well, actually, it's flipping over pretty quick to the next page. All right, the green stem pack is consumable, dropped by monsters in dungeons. When used, it gives the player the run boost effect for 30 seconds. I don't know if I knew that or not. I thought I knew blue, red, and yellow. Let's look at the wizard hat since this thing's being nice and moving fast. Piece of costume armor often found in the Glitch Castle chests. Can also be bought from a wizard merchant. It's part of the wizard set, oddly enough. Robot. Now, obviously, I've been asked about the robot. Ooh, there's a whole robot factory. Should we go to that first or the robotic? Let's go to the robot factory. And there's nothing. It shows a factory capable of creating the latest in urban robot technology. And it shows a little factory with, oh, it just says it's I guess it's a robot spawner. But it doesn't look like the same robot, unless it's just a graphics thing. It doesn't look like the same robots that is the one you make. So, oh crud, did I? Yeah, that's right. I didn't go to that, did I? So we have to do robot again. Okay, where are we? Oh crap. Uh, Robot chicken? Huh. Um, Active robot. Let's go to active robot because, yeah, okay. Now this is the one that's made out of the pieces. This is a spoiler, 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 spoiler. It has to do with the robot. So if you don't want to hear about the spoiler about the robot, go away. Uh, the robot, and it's the one you build, as far as I'm seeing here. Uh, the robot boss is the tier 2 boss triggered by activating an inactive robot. Once put in the floor and triggered with right click, it will spawn the boss. The boss is level 20 and attacks the player with both melee and ranged flamethrower attack. The boss will drop the processor used in crafting of the robotic crafting table. So I think that's the next thing I need to do. I was thinking about doing it for a goof because I thought it was like a follower or, well, obviously you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain what the hell a follower is. Okay, robotic crafting table is an upgraded crafting table. Crafting it requires a metal workstation and a processor which drops off the boss. Uh, for a list of recipes, see robotic crafting table recipes, oddly enough. Oh, it's really cool too. I won't tell you what it looks like. You'll have to, it's cool. But I think that's the next thing that I should have done, and I didn't realize it. So I should have done that already, and that would be moving us forward. Adventurer's chest guard, part of the Adventurer's set, derp. The tier 8 armor set for humans. Oh, so this is going to have everything, not just my little high old stuff. Uh, so anyway, a next set of armor for everybody. I assume everybody. Yeah, Dark Knight. Durasteel Tech upgrade. What are you? It unlocks the ability to craft tier 5 armor and tier 5 armor and weapons from the Aegeus salt bars. Okay. Endorphic jelly, one of its ingredients, is obtainable by defeating the Jelly King. So probably another spoiler there. So I'm going to move on to the Jelly King here. So if you don't want to hear about the Jelly King, and we're probably going to round this out. Ooh, he's cool. Alright, so spoilers on the Jelly King. He's a 4th tier boss. It is summoned by using peanut butter trap, which requires a monster lab. Well, that's just funny. Oh. Peanut butter trap is a craftable boss summoning item. Well, derp. Ah, it's so cute, and I'm not going to tell you that either. Okay, well, anyway, that's Mr. Information Bunny for now. I don't know if he'll be back where I make errors. There was a lot of this already recorded, so you're going to be seeing me using that pick without repairing it. You're going to, obviously the robot won't be in the works for a while. And I will make the attempt to read through the wiki as we go along. So, or before I go along, it's so nice to have a game that I wake up, I don't feel good, and you just plug the sucker in and go mine or go explore or whatever. And with Don't Starve, I have to plan what I'm trying to get done, and or mostly, and it's just the Terraria, the same thing. It's like, well, let's see now, what do I want to do? What project do I want to work on, or is there a project I want to work on? Uh, and The Walking Dead, I've got to have my head about me to do that. So that's pretty self-explanatory there. That's a psychological game and kind of a psychological test if you play it straight. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining me. Those of you who've had, and those of you that didn't, well, you'll never see this, but I understand why you didn't. It's all good. This is a specialty thing thrown in there. Like I said, I didn't intend to play the game. I just wanted to let a few things be known. I probably will put the Starbounder link in this just for anybody that wants to save some time looking for it or whatever, the Starbounder wiki. So I recently talked to somebody about some information on a game, and they didn't realize there was a wiki on it. So I'd be willing to bet you there's a wiki on about everything that, right down to how celebrity farts smell and what the texture of each one is. So, and if you have trouble with wikis indexes, which happens a lot, Don't Starve, and I'm not knocking them, but they have a lot of cute names for stuff, and so you don't know what you're trying to look it up under. And the search engines of wikis and forums especially are just the pits. And it's because, that's the way what they are. But you can always Google your question, like the evil tree in Don't Starve is a good example. It's got some cute name like a regular tree, or I don't know. Anyway, I've had people that had trouble finding it, but if you Google Don't Starve evil tree, you'll probably wind up in the wiki section that you're looking for. Although it's very likely you also hit some YouTube. But you know how to use Google, and if you don't, you'll learn. So anyway, you all take care of yourselves, and I think this is an excellent game. However, I would add the caveat that having your progress wiped is not something that's going to appeal to many people. And so, there's people that betas and alphas are fine for, and alphas even less than betas, but and people that are really frustrated by them. So, it is what it is. Bitching about things doesn't turn them into something else. Oh, gracious. Yogurt and Mountain Dew. And I'm going to do a shout out to my niece, who will never see this, but she actually went and did my grocery. It's just, the weather here is awful. I mean, not like end of the world awful, but cold, bad roads. I mean cold, like single digits cold, and it just makes me hurt. I'll say it. But she went and did essential shopping for me, and I appreciate that. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves, and I'll be around, and I'll be taking better notes and giving credit more as I like to. All right, I know some of you say, look, I don't need any credit for any of this, and that's cool, but everything comes from somewhere, and if it came from you, I'd like to say that. So, howdy, I'm back very briefly. The Mr. Information Bunny has left the building. This may or may not be information. Let's see. Recently somebody asked me about this hat. Can we get you off without causing a problem here? This thing is actually real. It's licensed by Disney, Alice in Wonderland hat. And it does have the number on it, and it has the gold tassels, but it's a licensed Disney Mad Hatter hat. And it's, you can't really see it, but it's made out of real heavy, it's polyester, but it's covered in taffeta cloth, and and it has a faux peacock feather from a faux peacock, and I tell you what, it's hard to catch up with a faux peacock and pull his feathers out. But It's very, very substantial. And another side note is Pywack has been sleeping in a Mr. Bunny hat, and it's like plush. It's a short-haired plush, but it's still plush. And the little weasel's been sleeping in that. So anyway, what I was going to say is because I noticed this in editing because I'm doing hours and hours of Starbound, or I do not in any way guarantee that, intend that. It's I play what I want because I enjoy things, and there's certain projects I feel committed to, but I don't, and I try to do round robin on my games, but and get back to things. But anyway, I've played many hours of Starbound, and probably 5 minutes of an hour actually goes up as video. Probably a little more than that early on, but it just depends on what I'm doing. But sometimes they seem to me a little bit flat as opposed to like Don't Starve, and the level of excitement isn't always there. And it's just because I don't know what's going to turn into video. And if I do see a really cool monster, you'll get the excitement there. Or if I find like a crap load of diamonds or something like that. But when you talk for hours, it's there's going to be some that it's not because I'm bored or anything. It's just there's a lot of film to work with in this. So anyway, I don't know if that's worth coming back for or not, but it's just sometimes the intensity isn't there. I think is and the sense of purpose because I'm just digging stuff to see what happens. So, all right, y'all take care.